Are things feeling a little up in the air for you right now, Aquarius? If so, we're going to get into it. Hi, friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Tanner, and this is my Esoterica. We're here with another timeless reading for my Aquarians. And yeah, it seems like, things could be a little up in the air for you guys right now. You could be having trouble balancing your priorities, or you could not be feeling prioritized by a person or a situation. Right now we have the shadow, which is the devil in this scenario, or in this deck. This is the Spirit Song Tarot, by the way. But there could be some sort of toxic attachment that you are still feeling chained down to in some way. Maybe a toxic person, could be a toxic job situation, or just a toxic friendship. Take this however it resonates for you. But in any case, I feel like whoever this person is, whatever this energy is representing, they're not prioritizing you in the way that you deserve. So we're going to do a few more cuts, see what's going on at the heart of this situation, and then we're going to pull some cards for you guys. Ooh, okay, so what else do we have, Spirit, for our Aquarians? We have transformation, which is death. So I feel like you guys are going through a big ego death right now. It says transition and liberation. So you could be trying to liberate yourself from a toxic situation or person, again trying to get your priorities in order and release yourself from any kind of toxic things that aren't serving you or keeping you stuck in a lower vibration. One more cut. What else do you have, Spirit? The Hermit. So yeah, you could be in a period of reflection right now, of isolation, of pulling your energy back from others in an attempt to gain some insight and wisdom for yourself, like finding your light again. Contemplation and wisdom are the key words on this version of the Hermit. But yeah, okay, so trying to get things back in order for yourself in a period of reflection. 222 on my timer. Feeling juggled in some way, toxic attachments. All right, that's the gist of this one. If this is resonating with you so far, then there is a message in this reading for you somewhere. But we're going to go ahead and get into it. So thank you, Spirit. Can we get some cards for our beautiful Aquarians? What is all going on for them right now when it comes to this situation? We have the Star. She came out real daintily and landed on my hand like that. So it seems like you guys are very much invested in your own healing right now. Again, with that Hermit energy, you could just be trying to prioritize yourself again and, give yourself some time to rest and rejuvenate and recover. Again, the Two of Pentacles is still on the bottom here. So a big message of just trying to get your priorities in order for yourself. There is a swan on this card. Swans are representative of twin flame dynamics, soulmate connection. So you could be dealing with somebody that you felt like was either your twin mate, soulmate, or divine counterpart in some way. Someone who didn't prioritize you, someone that you're seeing as kind of toxic at this point, someone you're interested in healing from. Okay, let's continue, Spirit. What else do we have for our beautiful Aquarians? We'll clarify that in a few minutes, but let's see what else wants to come out. The Knight of Crystals. So this is the energy of slow and steady wins the race. So you could be working on something for yourself. If this is about a person or a love situation, you could feel like things haven't been moving very much. Things have been stagnant, like this person hasn't been making any moves. I feel like if this is about a love situation, you are very patient with this person. But yeah, I think it seems like you were really determined to try to make things work with this person. But yeah, it seems like things kind of stalled out with the Knight of Pentacles. Like things just didn't, after a certain point, things just didn't move. Okay. Two of Pentacles still on the bottom, so definitely, again, not feeling prioritized by this person. That almost came out, but it didn't. The Three of Feathers, the Three of Swords, and it flipped out into reverse. So this is recovering from heartbreak and heart pain, emotional pain, I meant. Yeah, and sort of just, yeah, there's a lot of energy of recovery right now, of bouncing back, prioritizing yourself again, working on yourself with the Knight of Pentacles, putting your energy towards maybe some sort of creative project or business venture or something along those lines. And maybe you're just trying to get your ducks in a row when it comes to that. But otherwise, and maybe you're doing that, this is at the heart of your spread, so maybe you've started investing your time and energy into some sort of pursuit, material pursuit, to kind of help you work through this kind of saga or era of your life, this healing era. But okay, beautiful, beautiful. A lot of healing. And then there's this like butterfly, or is it a moth? But it's giving me transformation. Transformation through grief and pain. But okay, okay. It could, with the Knight of Pentacles, this could also, like, your healing journey could be feeling kind of like slow, but you're very dedicated to seeing it through. Okay, beautiful. All right, now we're going to start clarifying these cards. So let's start by clarifying the star energy, this healing. So what's going on with the star energy, Spirit, for our lovely Aquarians? We got quite a few cards for that. One of them fell on the floor too. So the one that fell on the floor was the Ten of Swords in reverse. So I feel like there probably was some sort of really painful ending that happened in this situation. A really like powerful lesson needed to be learned. Sorry, I have a cat hair in my eye. But since it came out in reverse, this is suggesting like bouncing back from hitting rock bottom a little bit. I feel like this person definitely left you feeling out in the cold. With the Five of Pentacles, that's what this card is. Yeah, somebody may have activated your abandonment wounds in some way. But I feel like, yeah, there's a lot of clarifiers for this. So you got the Lovers. So I feel like this was or is about an intense love situation that kind of triggered you having to make a choice between your head and your heart after a certain point. This comes out when we're talking about intense love, intense soulmate, intense, karmic contracts, however this type of stuff resonates with you. But I feel like, for all of the pain and abandonment and maybe betrayal that you experienced in this connection, it did elevate you to a higher vibration in your own energy, because we have the Queen of Crystals here, which is the Queen of Pentacles, and then we have the Empress. Divine feminine energy out the wazoo, friends. So it seems like, again, you may have gotten yourself wrapped up in an intense love situation that kind of activated your abandonment wounds. There could have been some sort of painful ending or backstabbing or betrayal that you are just starting to kind of heal from. But again, all of this was to help you start to prioritize yourself again. And I feel like in that vein, it's working, because again, you're elevating in your energy. With the Queen of Pentacles, you're starting to focus on your own coin. And that might explain this Knight of Pentacles if you are working on something for yourself. But this is all about finding security within yourself. Like feeling grounded in yourself, knowing your value, knowing your worth. And with the Empress here too, this is just like the elevated energies of the Queen of Pentacles. So the Divine Feminine, all four queens, like the Divine Feminine in her most powerful form. Granted, you do not have to resonate with being a feminine bodied person, but you may be a divine feminine energetically. It doesn't matter. We all have both within us. Gender is a social construct anyway. But yeah, I feel like, you know, for all of the pain that the situation put you through, it also elevated you to your highest, again, sort of timeline in a way. Like now, you know your worth. Now you know what you deserve. Now you know that you're not going to settle for anything less than what you really deserve. You know that abundance is yours by birthright. And you know that what is meant for you is going to find you because you trust that the universe is going to provide. That's all the Empress energy. So yeah, I definitely feel like this situation put you through the ringer, Aquarius, but I think you're coming out on the other side of it now, a stronger version of yourself, a more enlightened version, one who understands where their woundings were contributing to their own, like to your own, how your woundings were contributing to this dynamic and how this dynamic was making you feel, especially if you didn't feel like you were being prioritized. Wounded feminine energy, and again, we all go through this, so I'm not trying to come for you, but like, again, I don't think you're in this wounded feminine energy anymore, but wounded feminine energy tries to prove their worth. Wounded feminine energy overextends themselves and gives until they can't give anymore, until, you know, burnout or resentment happens. But again, I see you rising above this for sure. So good for you guys. So let's look at this Knight of Pentacles energy. What is it that you're working on? What is it that you're making slow and steady progress on? Woo! Talkative deck today. Well, the one that I was able to catch in my hand was Strength. So this is all about inner strength and resilience and endurance and learning to be compassionate towards yourself. Because I don't know if you guys like elephants. I love elephants. I believe elephants are my like spirit animal. But in any case, on the Strength card in the original Rider-Waite Tarot, we have a divine feminine being, you, and she's wrestling with a lion. But she's not really wrestling it to defeat it. She's wrestling it with compassion. Wrestling's not even the right word, but she's like very tenderly trying to get the lion to do what she needs it to do, which is like open its mouth. So the message of Strength is to be compassionate towards yourself. That lion represents your ego self, your animal self, right? And it's up to you from a higher, more aligned perspective to not try to beat yourself up over, you know, any of this, anything in the situation that made you feel less than. But it's about addressing those things and doing that work for yourself to get to the root of it so you can cleanse it and heal it for real. And then step into this highest form of yourself, which again, it looks like you're doing. So it seems like just a lot of really intense, really beautiful healing work is taking place in your energy. We have the Tower crossing, which these other two cards fell face down, but this one fell face up and it fell crossing. So the Tower is about a big shift, a big change in perspective. There could have been some sort of big shakeup in this connection in this situation, but I think more than anything else, this Tower is representing you really realizing and remembering your own worth with this Empress here. Let's get these other two. We have the Ace of Feathers, 1444 on my timer. So this is the Ace of Swords. So this is all about having a new mental breakthrough. Like the clouds have cleared. Like you're thinking and seeing everything clearly now. So you have had a major shift in perspective, recently. Like you've had a moment of clarity about who you are and what you bring to the table and who is even worthy to be in your energy, right? And then the last card that came out was the Hanged Man, but it popped out in reverse. So typically the Hanged Man in the upright position is about kind of having to pause and surrender in order to see things from a new perspective. It often shows up when like we've been banging our head against the wall when it comes to a certain situation, and like nothing, no matter what we do, nothing is helping the situation progress. So the Hangman energy comes about when these roadblocks are intentional from spirit, in an attempt to help you try to see the situation from a different, more enlightened perspective. In the reverse, I feel like this is like you coming out of this sort of surrender, like you starting to take action in your life. Like you've done this work, and now you're kind of coming out of it because you've had these realizations about your value and your worth and what you bring to the table and who you are. So beautiful. Like you're not letting anyone juggle you anymore because you're not juggling yourself now. You've been putting the work in. And I think it's showing in your energy. Are people like noticing you more, or like stopping you on the street more, or anything like that? Coming up to you and striking up conversations with you? I'm just curious because I feel like the more I've healed, the more people have been sort of magnetized to me. And I mean, sometimes it's cool and sometimes it's like, I just want to go on a walk. But yeah, I feel like you are really elevating in your energy from doing all this really beautiful healing work. Cool. So let's clarify this Three of Swords energy. What is this about? Well, this Three of Swords in reverse. So certainly about healing, releasing, bouncing back. The Page of Acorns. Oh, you got two. Again, talkative deck. You got the Ace of Acorns and the Page of Acorns. So this is the Ace of Wands and the Page of Wands. So it seems like there's been some sort of really new, exciting, passionate beginning happening when it comes to you really focusing on your healing. And with the Page of Wands, this is like you getting really curious and holding on to that inspiration and wanting to channel it into your healing process and your healing journey, which is really, really beautiful. For some of you, this healing could be calling somebody in as well. Because I'm seeing the Page of Wands as somebody who is maybe a little bit more immature than you, but is feeling really drawn to your energy, especially with you coming out as this Empress and this Queen of Pentacles. Like, I feel like this person can't help but feel kind of drawn into your energy energetically because of all the healing you've been doing. Now, whether you want this person to come back into your energy or not, that is up to you, and it's up to you to make that choice if they show up. But I do get the sense that, again, because of all the healing you've been doing, somebody is feeling drawn to your energy and is feeling inspired to want to send you a message. But if they do reach out, I think they're still coming in page energy, which means there's still, it's like there's still some immaturity here. Like, the people of the wand suit have a reputation for being kind of like players a little bit, or having their energy kind of scattered and not able to focus it in one place. Again, this is their shadow sides. So this person might have a lot of feelings for you, but they don't know how to really direct it and channel it in the most, like in the best ways, if that makes sense. But what I'm seeing, more than anything else, is that this person, they may have put you through the ringer. And I think you're finally starting to come out of the situation on the other side, a stronger, more enlightened version of yourself. Somebody, again, who knows their worth, knows their value, and isn't settling for anything less. But again, I do think all of this healing that you've been doing, all of this upgrading to your own energy is calling somebody back in. So we'll see when we look at what's coming next, but keep it in mind, okay? Okay, all right, friends. So let us get a piece of advice for you. So thanks, Spirit. Do we have a piece of advice, please, for our Aquarius viewers? What is a piece of advice that you have for them right now when it comes to this situation? A Knight of Shells, which is the Knight of Cups. Again, this is advice, but Knight of Cups is also a messenger, someone who wants to come in with a love offer. But we're not looking at what's coming next. This is your advice. So we have the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles. So you guys could definitely be taking action on something, towards something in your own life. Healing for sure, but you could be you could be working on some sort of, again, personal project or business idea or something like that. But with the Knight of Cups as your advice, this is taking action on any kind of inspiration, creative inspiration that you get. It's trusting your intuition, taking action on any intuitive impulses you get. Cups are about healing, so I think your advice is to continue focusing on your healing as well. Take action on all these things that you've learned about yourself through this situation and use it to continue to fuel your own growth and healing, which again, very prominent in your energy. And yeah, just trust the flow of things. Trust that you're going to get exactly where you need to go. I'm looking at this flamingo and I'm actually thinking of the Between Worlds card on the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. And this is about being between worlds. Like, I think you have a foot into this highest healed version of yourself, but then there is still a part of you that's kind of back there still. So like you're stepping into your most abundant self, like yourself in color, because on that Wisdom of the Oracle card, half of it is in black and white, half of it is in color. So I feel like, you know, you're heading in the right direction. You're stepping into your highest timeline, the highest version of yourself, right? But there's still some work to do, which is why I think Spirit is telling you to continue taking action on your own healing journey. I think you've done a lot. I think there is still some more to do, and I do think you're excited about putting that work in, because who you end up as on the other side of it is, I don't even have words for it, but it's amazing. And in a lot of ways, you might not even recognize yourself after you really go through this process or complete this process. You might look back in another 3 months, 6 months, a year and be like, oh my God, I can't believe I ever put myself in that sort of situation. But it's all growth, baby. All right, my friends, let's see what's coming next for you, okay? So thanks, Spirit. What is coming next for our beautiful Aquarians when it comes to this situation? What is coming next for our Aquarians? The Eight of Shells, the Eight of Cups. This is walking away completely from things, situations, people, relationships that do not serve you anymore. And with the Eight of Cups, it does not matter how much time and love and energy you've spent trying to make a situation work, because something about it was just not in alignment with you. And with the Eight of Cups, you know, it's not like you haven't tried, but you can't force the situation to be in alignment. And I think you're starting to realize that, and you know that whatever the situation is, it's not it's not your Nine of Cups, right? It's not your wish fulfillment. It might have seemed that way at first, but I think now you know that you need to walk away from this so you can find your Nine of Cups, your true wish fulfillment. So if this person comes back and they're not in a healed energy, they're coming in as a page and not a king, or not as the emperor, then remember who you are, and remember all the hard work you've put into yourself and your healing and your growth. And don't be afraid to walk behind or leave it behind and walk away, because your Nine of Cups is just around the corner. Airplane, ascension. You're going through an ascension process, and I think you're doing it beautifully, my beautiful friends. But okay, yeah, so continue taking action, continue to follow your creative and intuitive impulses, continue to focus on your healing, and I think you're just going to continue to find yourself in a better position than you were, a better version of yourself than you were. And yeah, that's all we have. This was a pretty straightforward reading, all things considered. But thank you guys for joining me. I hope this reading was helpful for you. If it was, please consider liking and commenting and subscribing. I would love to hear from you. I'd love to hear how this reading resonated with you. And yeah, I'm just trying to build my little YouTube community, and I'd love for you guys to be a part of it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and leave it here, my friends, but we will see you in the next one, okay? All right, take care.